Mike, today we're talking about episode 32, Accessing Creativity Through the Art of Story with Mike Wilson. He's the director of the
Mhm.
Storytelling Academy at Loughborough University. This episode was released in February of 2025. What resonated for you in that conversation?
Yeah, man, I loved it. I loved it just because I love the idea of storytelling in academia, and the way that he sort of integrated it into all the different areas at Loughborough. So, there's lots that sort of resonate with me, but I think one of the biggest things that stood out to me was your little conversation about digital storytelling is actually a slow process. Like it's he called it slow storytelling. And I honestly had never sort of thought of it in that way too. You mentioned that you hadn't either, because when you look at a lot of the storytelling sort of methods these days, like Instagram and YouTube and reels and stuff, people are literally recording in real time, telling stories about their day or different activities, things like that, and it happens really fast, right? And digital storytelling is something that forces you to slow down and happens over sometimes weeks or months, as people really start to sit with their stories and make really conscious decisions about the way that they are choosing to tell it. And to me, that's something that is really unique about digital storytelling because we often don't take the time that our stories deserve to tell them in a way that they deserve, right? And so I like that idea of slow storytelling and focusing on that process side of storytelling because that really is where a lot of the magic happens when it comes to people really understanding the experiences of their lives and the wisdom that it has that they have to offer the world around them. And so yeah, slow storytelling. You hear about slow food, you hear about slow, whatever, slow summers, 80s summers. Remember that's a big thing right now. How let your kids have an 80s summer that's slow. And I like the idea of translating that into storytelling as well. So that's really what stood out to me. And I think it's something that digital storytelling can provide to the story ecosystem, is giving people an opportunity to slow down and tell stories in very targeted, specific ways that can really enhance sort of the meaning of the moments of their life. So yeah, that's what stood out to me.
Perfect. And, it really makes me think of a quote that we've used in the training when we're doing level one facilitators. And I don't have it off the top of my head right now, but just that idea that if I had more time, I'd write a shorter letter.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, from Pascal. He was
Yeah.
writing a letter to his friend, and in the postscript, he said, "I apologize for this long letter. I didn't have time to write a shorter one."
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're talking about is, brevity takes time. And it's not that you're reducing these stories or reducing sort of lived experience into like little bite-sized pieces like a lot of social media is, right? Where
Yeah.
you're it's reductionist in many ways. Digital storytelling, because it takes so much time to create, even though it's so short, it's actually more of a distillation of meaning. It distills the meaning. It helps you pull out these really important themes in your life in a different way. And so, yeah, I love that slow storytelling. Let's see. Let's use that. That's a good one.
And I think so friends, if you're listening, have a listen to that podcast with Mike Wilson because he also talks about really focusing on something very specific in his own story. So he talks about a pencil and what that
Mhm,
pencil means to him, and I thought that was a really incredible way of thinking about a
mhm.
meaningful moment, not the biggest things, but the things that really stand out to you. So,
Yeah.
episode 32, Accessing Creativity Through the Art of Story with Mike Wilson. You can listen to the episode. You can find the blog post about it, all the links in the show notes below.